Now we just got to figure out where that's at. Can you go to our SJSU live stream page, Rosine?
Here.
Yeah, it's not that one anymore. If you go to
Hi, everyone. We'll start in just a few minutes. As always, a few technical difficulties, but we'll start in just a second. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Okay, we're live.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Are we ready, Alfredo?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, excellent. Well, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our second live stream, and today's presentation is entitled "A Technology Library of Things." We really want to talk to you about our Library Technology Integration Lab. I'm Anthony Chow. I'm the director of the School of Information and founder of the LTI Lab. And let me introduce you to our outstanding team. Alfredo, you want to say hello?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm the lab coordinator, and I'm here joined with Rosine and Nick in person, and we'll hear from Chase Allgood, who is on the Zoom call, and we'll hear from Jennifer and Irene, who have some recorded pieces for us today. So
great, thank you, Alfredo. And so one of the core purposes of the LTI Lab is to serve as a hands-on learning lab, and so those students that Alfredo had mentioned have all been really central and core to our functioning. So, all right. So a quick overview of what we're going to present for you. So we want to talk a little bit about the purpose of the LTI Lab, and then we want to go into detail of some of our technology. So in this case, virtual reality and mixed reality. And we're excited that we have the MetaQuest 3. And we're going to demonstrate that for you in just a second. And then we're going to talk about web-based virtual reality, which is Mozilla Hub. So we'll show you kind of the ins and outs of that. And again, one of the values of that is you can serve now virtual reality as a hyperlink. Then we're going to talk about the hologram. So creating a hologram and kind of explaining why it's something that you might want to use, and also why it's so excellent in terms of introducing STEM concepts. And then the 360 camera. So certainly virtual reality and virtual reality tours are very impressive and, again, immersive. And we're going to show you the Rico. And then finally, what everyone's talking about is AI. So if you haven't had a chance to see ChatGPT, we're going to demonstrate, hopefully, ChatGPT and discuss some of the pros and cons of artificial intelligence. All right. So first of all, why technology? So why should we be so interested and concerned about technology? Well, the statistics show that digital access continues to grow exponentially as print and physical usage and visitation decrease, and that is just a fact. So libraries, however, will want to remain the hub of the community. And so as the digital access and demand increase, digital literacy and digital access in organization is critical for libraries. Already kind of talked about that. So visits and print circulation truly are decreasing. Digital access and circulation continue to increase. Digital literacy is critical because ultimately digital literacy in the access to technology oftentimes is separated based on socioeconomic status. And so digital literacy, just similar to reading literacy, is really important for libraries, ensuring that all children and people have access to both the technology and are literate in the digital world. And then finally, mixed reality. So mixed reality is a way to organize information, and we're going to show you many examples of mixed reality, but ultimately it's the immersion of an integration of technology with the real world. And so we'll show you again a lot of different examples of how that would work. So first of all is let's talk a little bit about the LTI Lab and the iSchool. So first of all, the iSchool, 2 years running, accounts for 13% of all MS students in the country. And so certainly being situated in Silicon Valley, one of our responsibilities is to continue to be at the forefront of technology and its impact on libraries across the country. And the other aspect of the LTI Lab is really serving as the hub for the exploration and use of digital technology in libraries across the country and really across the world. And so one of the things that we've been doing over time, really the last year and a half, is building a network of library partners who are working in the space and, more importantly, sharing best practices with one another. In Palo Alto, which is where this live stream is originating from, is our first partner. And as they are certainly also one of the leaders in digital literacy, we have really enjoyed working with one another. So that is where they are on the map. If you back up real quick, Alfredo. So that's where they are on the map, Palo Alto, California. And that is a picture of the library, the downtown library.
And before we go on, Dr. Cha, I just want to kind of switch cameras and just show the space because we have a few team members here. So just a quick hello. We see Ryan, we see Nick and Chris over there, and then Rosine's about to pop in. So again, thank you all for letting us play in your space here and helping us kick off this live stream. So thanks, everyone.
Well, and I also want to emphasize, because of their technology competency, they're allowing us to continue to move forward and accomplish our mission. So thanks again for the entire Palo Alto City Library. And we're just getting started. So. All right, and then really quickly, just to try to explain what extended reality is. So extended reality is kind of the large rubric that encompasses VR, MR, and AR. So extended reality, as you can see, is the umbrella term. And let's start all the way on the end, virtual reality. So virtual reality is fully immersive. So in essence, you put on a headset or something that immerses you completely, and you are not really able to see the physical. Mixed reality, which has really become more the norm, and I think is going to become more popular than the other two realities, is essentially mixing a blend of physical and real world virtual element, digital and virtual elements with the physical, and especially with the phone, you're going to see more and more of that. And finally, augmented reality. So basically, and then you add a digital overlay on top of the real world, and that also is going to become more and more commonplace. And really, the spectrum is low immersion, which is augmented reality, versus complete immersion, which is VR. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start playing with the technology and walking you through a number of our holdings. So Alfredo, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Chow. So I'm going to leave this slide up just for a second so that we can kind of show you. We're going to show you one of the newest tech gadgets we have at the lab, and we've recently just purchased the MetaQuest 3. So we have a MetaQuest 2. We purchased a MetaQuest 3, and in this diagram here, it falls under kind of a little bit of both, where you can be fully immersed in VR, and then you can also have the augmented reality aspect where it's the elements are laid over the physical space. So these new devices will give you kind of that mixed reality feel. And so I'm going to switch the screen here so you can see Rosine. She has the headset, and the headset has a few different changes this time around. You're looking at the headset, which in the front has much more cameras to kind of give you the what they call the pass through, where you can see the real world and not have to kind of take off your goggles or take off your lenses to view. And speaking of lenses, these lenses are now flat lenses, which kind of gives you a better field of view when you have these glasses on. Another change is the ergonomics of the controllers that she has in her hand. So those are a few different, they're different from the last ones and a little even more comfortable to use when you're playing with the headsets. And also, you don't really need them because also with all the cameras, you can track your hands. So then you can use your hands as your controllers without your controllers. Just a little kind of like, for me, I like to know what's in the box. What am I getting for my, few $100s that I'm spending on this tech? You're going to get the headset, you get the remotes. It does come with batteries included. You come with the charger. One recommendation, if you are going to be acquiring one and using it at your library, is to doesn't come with it, but to get the pop-out face guard that is that has the rubberized so that you can sanitize it and after each and every use. Now, what I'm going to do next is kind of talk about why we want to bring extended reality into libraries. And so I'll give you a few reasons, and then we'll go into some use cases and some examples. And then we'll go into a short video. We recorded this piece just for bandwidth issues and just kind of making it a little bit smoother for your experience. We'll go into what Workrooms is, which is a collaborative space where you can work on your headset and or without it, and like you could use it on your computer as well. So let's go into why we want to bring it in. First, enhanced learning and education. Next, maybe for innovative storytelling, for skill development, for accessibility and inclusivity, cultural preservation. Another good reason to bring extended reality. And I say extended reality because I'm not just wanting to kind of just say, just bring VR. You could bring AR. You can bring mixed reality like these headsets, like the MetaQuest 3, the Picos. And also for community engagement. And building off of that, I have some use cases that hopefully will spark some ideas and kind of give you a little feel of what you can do with these glasses. First, virtual tours and field trips. So libraries no longer have, they've served as points for public's first exposure to new technologies. So imagine a patron taking a virtual tour of a historical site or museums right from your local library. That to me is the magic of XR. You can basically teleport to a different world without leaving your actual seat in the library. There's also educational XR content that supports various subjects and age groups that can be used in libraries, such as simulations. They've got documentaries, interactive learning experiences. And one example of that is we're fortunate to work with one of our strategic partners, which is XR Libraries. And John McLeod, who is the executive director there, I've had the chance to meet with him, and he shared with me the kind of things that they're doing. And they have a great catalog of VR experiences, immersive learning, storytelling, and a lot of other cool things. So if you want to kind of take a look at that, you could visit us on our LTI website, and all of our strategic partners have a page and kind of highlight what they're doing. So this leads us to our next example, interactive storytelling. XR can turn libraries into storytellers in a whole new way. So picture a virtual book club where you discuss your favorite books in a virtual environment. So it's just not reading it, it's kind of living the story together. With interactive storytelling using XR, it can take literature engagement to a whole new level. And one of another partner that we're working with and is Living Pop-Ups, and they have these AR books, these augmented reality books, where you can work on a mobile device, scan the book, download the app, scan the book, and then the book comes to life. And on top of that, they also have a dashboard where teachers can set questions so that when the student or the reader is reading the book, questions pop up and they can interact with the characters. And then that gives you data at the very end that you on your mobile device, and you can see kind of the interaction and that the reader was doing with that book with using AR. So they have really cool stuff, and we're collaborating with them on some projects at the lab. So we're fortunate to again have them as a strategic partner. Job training, that's another use case that we think XR and VR could be a really great benefit. So we know that libraries are no strangers to skill building. So maybe you want to think about job training programs in VR that allow patrons and users to develop skills in a virtual environment before applying them to the real world. Again, I want to kind of tie these with real world examples that we've been working with at the lab, but this one, we were again asked and fortunate to speak and showcase our lab and what we're doing in our tech at the Nevada Library Association. And during that time, I met with Mark Anderson, who's a co-founder and CEO of Lifelike, which is a super innovative company, and they have immersive simulations that they shared with me, which were pretty awesome. And one of the projects that he talked about was that Nevada scored a huge grant for Project Sandy, that's SANDI, which is led by the Governor's Office of Workforce Innovation and the Office of Economic Development. And Project Sandy aimed to boost STEM careers using virtual reality in collaboration with institutions, libraries, other private partners to kind of revamp Nevada's workforce. And Lifelike was one of the key partners, and they contributed virtual reality training content to kind of expedite industry recognized credential acquisition. And when I was there, I tried on a headset and walked through one of these, and it was giving me the ins and outs of a dialysis center. And it was pretty awesome because I had no idea of what went down into that dialysis center, and I had no idea actually what the actual ins and outs of the machines were. So that was a really interesting way of utilizing VR for job training. Next, accessibility and learning. Libraries, we all know, are all about accessibility, and XR caters to different learning styles and abilities, which makes learning experiences more inclusive. So even if you can't physically visit the library, XR could bridge that gap. And later we'll show you an example of this, and you'll hear from Jennifer Emery, who's a member of our LTI team and a student here at the iSchool. And she led a program with the Los Gatos Public Library to create a virtual tour for them using the Ricoh Theta camera, 360 camera that we have at the lab. And again, later you'll hear how that project went and how she went about doing it. And again, all of this you could find on our LTI page. So you're just going to get a high level overview of how to use these devices. But if you want to get into the mechanics of how it was done, we'll have that programming on our site. Next is archival and preservation. So libraries are custodians of culture, and XR can help preserve that. It can be used to showcase cultural artifacts, historical documents, rare collections, all in a digital interactive format, like having your own little time machine in your local library. Our Worlds is a company that we were able to chat with, and kind of we're in the works of kind of having them as our strategic partner and see how we can collaborate with our students in our lab and with them. A little bit about them. They're a Native American owned company that uses extended reality and 360 media experience to foster Native American storytelling through geo site locations and interactive maps. Their Our Worlds app is first of its kind in a large scale network, delivering their XR 360 proprietary cutting edge technology to give an immersive and meaningful sensory experience on your mobile phone. So again, all of these things don't require that you have to have a headset. You can have your phone, you can have your computer. So seeing what they're doing also is to preserve Native American culture down in San Diego, and they're hoping to expand and have more areas in the country kind of be part of this. Was a pretty awesome use of XR technology. Now, libraries aren't just a place to kind of check out books and study. It's also kind of a place where you would go to unwind too, right? So imagine having a virtual relaxation space where you can go and de-stress. You can put on a headset, take a meditative journey on in VR and be transported to a different world. And I think that this could attract a diverse audience and a whole new level, a whole new like recreational experience for patrons. The other idea and use case that we came up with was events and workshops. So, you know, the heart of the community is the library, right? And we believe that XR can strengthen that community bond. You can use it for virtual events, workshops, to collaborate on projects, for meetups, where libraries can bring people together virtually, more to kind of foster that community building. And to piggyback on that, and one of our last examples is to collaborate on projects. Now, we've created a short video for you showcasing Meta Workrooms, which is a free collaborative platform that is through Meta that you can use to meet up and work with your teams remotely. So let me go into that portion and let you kind of take a look at that, and you'll see more about Workrooms.
Hello, I'm Alfredo, and I'm joined by a few members of our LTI Lab, Jennifer, Chase, and Rosine. And we want to welcome you and introduce you to our Meta Workroom platform that takes your virtual meetings to a whole new level. So imagine a virtual workspace where you can meet up with teammates, brainstorm ideas, share presentations, and get work done. Whether you're using a MetaQuest headset or joining from a regular 2D screen computer, it's all about making collaboration feel real and engaging. In this short clip, we are going to discuss some features and benefits that are available to you in Meta Workrooms. So let's talk about some of the features and benefits of working in the Meta Workrooms. One is the ability to collaborate seamlessly in 2D and VR. You can raise your hands, you can share screen, you can message with colleagues, react to conversations, all from the comfort of your virtual space. Workrooms also have the flexibility of switching them up. So need a presentation room or a discussion room with round desks or a breakout room for brainstorming? Choose the right space for your meeting with their flexible room options. The current configuration is just a general desk, but if I switch it up, now we're in a U shape. And you'll notice that we're all looking at Rosine, who is on her computer screen, and we could switch chairs. So if I could have you, Jennifer, switch over and move to the right side of Chase, and with a couple clicks and a point to where you want to go, there she goes. Another customizable feature in Workrooms is the environments. You can customize your virtual office with imagery and logos, set the right mood for your meeting, whether it's an icebreaker by the beach or collaborations high above the city. You could change the scenes to suit your style. The great thing about working in Workrooms is that you can join from anywhere. Whether you're on a regular call or using a MetaQuest headset, everyone can get involved. Now let's talk about productivity and discover new ways to get more done. With the remote desktop app, you can seamlessly integrate your physical computer screen and keyboard into VR. You can experience a flow between your virtual and physical environments like never before. Another thing that Workrooms do is makes you feel more connected, more sense of community. And some of those ways are with spatial audio that lets you hear who says what from where, just like in a physical room. It makes conversations more natural and memorable. Another way to feel connected and feel part of a community when you're in Workrooms is through your avatars. You can express yourself with your avatars by customizing them. And when you're in the Workrooms, you can high five each other, you can fist bump, you can let your nonverbal communication shine through.
Yeah, high five.
Right.
Yeah, did we do some patty cake last time?
Yeah.
So that's another cool feature to kind of make it feel like you're not so distant. This is just a little taste of what Workspace is, and hopefully this will spark some ideas for you and your library to kind of utilize this and work with library patrons, or use a headset at your library and then use a headset at another library and collaborate with teams that way in a unique way. So I thanks for your time, and we're going to go pop back into our live portion of the live stream, and we'll step out of this recording. So thanks so much. So that's concludes this portion of the exploration of kind of why XR would be kind of a benefit. Hopefully these use cases sparked some ideas for your library. We recorded that piece just to kind of make it a seamless transition into kind of showing you Meta workspaces, but the initial setup and actually popping into the rooms is fairly straightforward, and we could find more information on our site. So right now I want to kick it back to Dr. Chow, because we are going to I'm going to pass the mic on to Rosine, who will be talking about Mozilla Hubs. We're going to look at some of the Hubs rooms. We're going to look at actually Dr. Chow's CV room. And then from there, we'll hear from Irene Miller, who will give us kind of an idea, or we'll share what it's like to kind of go beyond just being a guest in a room, but kind of adding things and navigating through the spaces. So if you give us a few seconds, I'll pass the mic on to you, Dr. Chow, while we switch over and we bring Rosine to the screen.
Great job, Alfredo. And what's interesting about what we just demonstrated is the MetaQuest 3. So the MetaQuest 2, let's go ahead and back up to the previous slide.
Tutorial run through.
There we go. The MetaQuest 2 was fully immersive, so that was virtual reality. And with the MetaQuest 3, now you have the mixed reality like we're talking about. So now let's talk about Mozilla Hubs. Mozilla Hubs by Mozilla is a browser-based virtual reality. And the reason why we have really jumped in with both feet is because when we look at the difference between 2D, which is really what you're seeing right now, and 3D, we are really talking about 33% more space to express yourself, to organize information, and to experience and discover information. And so what you see on the screen here are 4 different worlds, and Rosine is going to walk you through that. Also, before she does, you'll see QR codes throughout the slide decks, and feel free to use your phone or device to click on that to have direct access to the worlds that we're showing you. So without further ado, let me hand it over to Rosine.
Thank you, Dr. Chow. This is our Mozilla Hubs rooms that iSchool staff and students have created. They are VR students.
Okay, Irene here, and I am going to give you a
beautiful
brief little
Hubs rooms. This is the LTI Labs Hubs room, and we have the iSchool room, and we have the Manga Hubs, and we have the Dr. Chow's CV room, and we are going to go there now. And so this is Dr. Chow's Hubs room.
And as you'll see in Mozilla Hubs, why did I want to present my resume or CV in this space? Well, first and foremost, you can see where I've situated my my background and experience. So a beautiful environment. So, but go ahead, and Rosine, let me turn it back over to you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dr. Chow. This is Dr. Chow's Hubs room, and we have his CV here. And this is a great way to showcase your presentation and at the library. And another great way is to teach this technology to new generation.
And Rosine, if I may, so again, when you look at a PDF CV in a 3D space, look how much more we can do with it, right? And so you can see I've pulled out a lot of various experience, and also I've added visuals, and we are just getting started. There are going to be more interactive elements in the future. So again, that third dimension really gives us quite a bit more space to express ourselves and to really highlight our experience. So you can see, in essence, this is a poster session of my experience, again, put in a real space. And again, as Alfredo had highlighted, that is also how I believe information will be organized in the future, is situating in real spaces information and artifacts about that space. So thanks, Rosine.
Thank you, Dr. Chow. So we are going to now leave the Dr. Chow's Hub's room, and Irene Miller is going to present some functionalities of Mozilla Hubs.
Okay, Irene here, and I am going to give you a brief little tutorial run through on how to create your own Mozilla Hubs room. It is very easy and user-friendly, very customizable, and you can really get creative and make a space that works for you and for your library or your community. So as you can see right now, we are on the Hubs page, and we are going to try out this create room option. So let's get started. Okay, Hubs has now created a room for us. This is the elegant, glamorous get-together room. They're pretty creative with their names, but I'm not sure that I like this setting. So I'm going to go to room settings, and this is where I'm going to need to give them an email address. So I am going to give them an email address. And what's going to happen is I don't actually set up an account with a password. They're just going to send me an email that I click on a link to confirm, which is kind of nice, but also we'll see later this changes a little bit of how we interact. Okay, so verification is complete, and now I can sign in. Okay, like I said, I don't know that I like this room. This doesn't maybe necessarily meet my needs. So I'm going to change scene. So on this page, we can see that Hubs has a lot of scene options. Some of them have been created by the Hubs team, some by other users, but there is a lot to pick from that you can find something that's going to match your event or activity that you would like to hold in here. And you can see there's even more pages of rooms. So I'm going to come back up here because I would like a space that allows me to share a lot of items with other people, post things on the walls, links, and such. So what I am going to do is pick this Hello WebXR main hall. And this has been pretty popular room with the SJSU students who have created Hubs rooms as well. Okay, so I'm going to join my room, and I am a yellow robot, Spotted Whistler. I think I'm going to change my name to my actual name, and I will, maybe I'm not a yellow robot today. I can pick from a bunch of different avatars, and these are also pretty fun. I think that maybe I'm a purple alien today. So, except I'm going to let them use my microphone, and I'm going to enter the room. I'm going to skip the tour, but when you create your own room, I would recommend that you go ahead and do it. It's just going to give you some idea of how the controls work and so on. So I'm going to skip tour, and I'm going to close out my room settings so you've got a bigger view of the room. So this is a really nice space. It's very simple and elegant, but it also allows me a lot of customization options. So I'm going to back up a little bit from this wall because this is the space that I'm going to use to share some items with other people who might come in this room. So to do that, I'm going to go to this place button, the green one in the middle, and I will upload something. So an example of something that I could upload is a link to a website. So this is the website for the LTI Lab. All right, there it is. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger because I want it to be a little bit more prominent. So I'm gonna put my cursor over it, push down the spacebar key and drag it up so that it's nice and big. And I think that I'm pretty happy with where it's located. So again, with the spacebar, I'm going to pin it. So now anybody who walks up to this, puts their cursor over it, open link, it's going to take them directly to our website. However, there doesn't have to just be a website. You can share pictures, you can share videos, and presentations. So let's try next a picture. Okay, so we have a picture here. This is something we've used in LTI Lab. These are images from the MetaQuest. Oh, and again, I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger so people can get a good look at that robot. And then I can pin it in place. And last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and put a presentation up here. Again, my green place button. Oops. So this is a great collaboration tool. You can put any number of items on the wall and everybody can access them at the same time. Oh, but that looks like it's bumping into the wall. So we're going to move it over here. Oops. Sorry. And I'm going to pin it. Oops. Oh, that looks like that is not up against the wall, huh? So that's another note. Whatever you make doesn't necessarily have to be up against the surface. I could move that, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave that here for now. So a couple other object options that we can do here is I can react, let everybody in the room know that I love something by throwing hearts around. I can congratulate someone. And I can also chat with someone. If anybody else is in the room, I can enter something in the chat. And anyone else who's in the room would be able to see it. However, there is nobody here now at the moment. So let's close out our chat. And another fun feature is under, again, place again, you can use a camera and take a picture of yourself. So I'm going to get a little bit closer. You can get my big blue eye there. Oh, there I am. Looking fabulous. And again, I can move this here on the wall. Oh, I fill that beautifully. Excellent. I'm going to go back to place again. Put the camera away. But you can see there's lots of different things that you can put in this room and really make it your own. And you can have multiple people painting multiple things, like their own artwork or their own ideas, and make this a really shared space. The one note that I would also like to add is earlier I mentioned about the type of account that you have. When you are in a room, if you want to share with other people, you can share just this URL up at the top here. But if you want to find it again, you need to either save it, bookmark it in your browser, save the link, or over here under more, you just need to make it a favorite room. So now that I have it as a favorite, I can always come back to it. Oh, and find it. Oh, I have 2 favorite rooms. Oh, how lovely. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this little introduction to how you can create your own Mozilla Hubs room. I highly recommend that you go in, check out yourself, make something that's your own, and use it to collaborate and work with other people in your community and your library. Anyway, thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you so much, Irene. That was great. That was a great presentation. And now we are going to turn the microphone to Chase, who is online.
Okay, Irene here, and I am going to give
Chase
you
is going to present the holograms for us. Chase?
Yeah, and actually, before we turn over to Chase, a few final thoughts about the Mozilla Hub. So we actually are collaborating with ALA on a metaverse that's focused on book banning. And the other things that you've seen that we also are very excited about is using virtual reality as a collaborative meeting space, as well as an interactive discovery storytelling space. And then lastly, although we're not there yet, we have another project called Seeking Immortality, where we're looking to digitally preserve Northern Cheyenne language and culture in virtual reality, which now opens the door to not only videos and interactive artifacts, but also artificial intelligent conversational agents that essentially can talk to you in the virtual reality world. So we are just beginning. And again, if you are watching this and are wondering how could we ever use this in libraries, the thing to remember is that just like with strategic planning, it's not about today, but it's really asking yourself 3 to 5 years from now, how prevalent is this information? So my prediction is that because it is browser-based, sooner than later, websites and virtual reality sites are going to be more the norm for organizations and also individuals. So I've encouraged all of our graduates here at San Jose State's iSchool to have a virtual reality resume as another way to express oneself, as well as to demonstrate their skill set in this space. The key is to be ready, is to not prepare when the patrons need us, but rather to be ready when the patrons and society needs us to help them in virtual reality. So with that being said, Chase, go for it.
Hi. Yeah, hi. Thanks, Dr. Chow and Rosine.
Okay, Irene here, and I am going to.
Yes, Chase.
All right.
Yes.
First, simple, clear plastic pyramid, the Spectre hologram packs a lot of novelty into a small package. Today, I'd like to highlight a few STEM education use cases for this device. Next slide. Starting with STEM education for a younger group. For this activity, start by having your youth patrons sketch as a general art task or have them draw something thematically related to your current programming, whatever works contextually. For an easy conversion to a hologram, use light-colored gel pens or wax pencils on black construction paper to make an image that's ideal for the task. Next slide. And using our Google Slides tutorial, which you can find on the LTI website, it's quick and easy to turn a simple phone photo of one of the sketches into a hologram-ready image, or, even if you like, a simple hologram animation. Next slide. Here we have a process drawing and a Spectre hologram of it. And now moving on, for an older, less easily impressed group, a simple black background, 2 phones, and a video chatting app will allow you to live cast video to a hologram. Next slide.
And for another STEM education use case, utilizing any video calling app and a simple dark background, you can stream video to a phone or tablet to create a live hologram. You can try it with Zoom, Discord, or FaceTime and introduce the group to the world of holograms and live broadcasts at the same time.
Next slide.
And for another STEM education use case, utilizing any video calling app and a simple dark background, you can stream video to a phone or tablet to create a live hologram. You can try it with Zoom, Discord, or FaceTime and introduce the group to the world.
And those are just a few use cases to consider. We have various learning resources available on the LTI webpage, which you can get to by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the slide. Thank you.
Thank you, Chase.
And I think one, compliments to Chase for doing that. I'm sure many of you are thinking Star Wars when you think about a hologram. So one of the other use cases that we have is for the School of Information. When we have booths, we have our staff that actually, similar to what Chase just did, are introducing themselves to prospective students. So again, one of the things that these holograms can do is it's one thing to introduce yourself on 2D or print documents, another thing to introduce yourself in 360. And so again, from a communication standpoint, it is another way of expressing yourself. The other thing that we have seen is that people really like holograms. So if you're a library and you want to emphasize your digital literacy and also STEM programming, the other thing you want to do is in outreach activities, create a hologram for yourself, for your programming, for your library, and people really gravitate towards that. So what we do is we have these holograms at our tables, and the good news is that there are thousands of YouTube videos that have beautiful hummingbirds, butterflies, etc., that really catch people's eyes. So again, not only from a STEM programming, but just from an outreach and capturing people's attention, it is a very easy way to do that. And then lastly, as our world becomes more and more digital, again, libraries, I think, need to redefine themselves. And so this kind of technology is actually very simple to work with, but it actually packs quite a bit of a punch in terms of, I think, moving a little bit further away from, some of the stereotypes that plague libraries. So.
Thank you, Dr. Chow. And now Jennifer Emery is going to present us the Ricoh Theta for us. And this is the Ricoh Theta 360 camera.
Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Emery. I'm an MLIS graduate student at San Jose State University, and I'm an intern in the LTI Lab 2023 fall semester. I'm going to demonstrate uses for 360 spherical camera technology and applications for building a virtual tour of the Los Gatos Library. We used the Ricoh Theta SC2 from our LTI Lab along with the Ricoh Z1 for training our participants, but you can really use any 360 spherical camera. And we use 3D Vista Tour software to build the tour, but again, any software can be utilized, and you can just upload the photos to the tour to the software, and it will host it for you. But those usually require a subscription. So let's get started. We're going to show you the tour of the Los Gatos Library and the final product of the 3D virtual tour. All right, so this is the start of our tour in front of the Los Gatos Library, and we start with a little pop-up photo that you can add to these tours. You can show where the library return area is. You can simply move around. Basically, if this is on your website or another hosting service, people can just use their cursor to move around like I am here. And then you see these little, what they call hot spots, those little blinking arrows, and that's where you can go to the next room. And then again, just look around and click on the little icons, and you can make different icons. There's lots of different icons to choose from in the software. And go outside and click on interesting little areas. And these photos we did take with an additional photo. You could do this with your cell phone. You could just take a couple close-up photos and then add them into the tour. So then we go back inside and we just go through the library. They can go back to where they came from, look around, go into the next room. Over here we have the little kiosk. Again, this can be a way of virtually people going online and figuring out where everything is in the library. This is the children's section. And we just went around and looked at what were little areas of interest like this in the children's area, and took a few photos and added them into the tour. And again, they just move the cursor, go to the next section. See some fun stuff over here for the kids, a little seating area and a book. There's another outside area out here. And these fun little drum sets. And as you see, this is 360, so you can look up and you can look down and you can look all around and go back inside. And again, this has a cool feature up on the ceiling here, so you can look around on that. And then we'll go to the next area, and also people can find where the bathrooms are. And we'll go upstairs. And up here there's the information desk, and they can choose which way to go. And it's really up to you how many of these little hotspots you want to put in. I find that we don't want it to be too much, too confusing. Here's a laptop checkout. Too many options is just a little overwhelming for most viewers. Nice little architectural feature. And then we're going to go into the technology lab over here, where they have some 3D printers. So if they look up something online on the library, they can go right upstairs and say, oh, there's where the 3D printers are, or whatever. I think this was the, this is little cutouts of the little wood pieces. And they get a whole feel for the space. And we'll go down over here, and this is over, they can also find like where the elevators are. This is the teen space. The teen space could bring in youth so they can see how fun it is, and it's well lit. And then they have some fun activities, nice windows. The media section, and patrons can look around and see what kind of DVDs they can check out, all the different areas. And again, it doesn't have to go down every single book aisle. They're not going to be searching for specific items while they're here, but it's more to show the space and the area. This is the local history room. You could zoom in on the plaque on the door, and then they can go right in the room and look around. And then back out, and then decide where they might want to go. Just look around at more of the space here. So this right here is a little map that you can add. We asked for this from the library, and we went right back downstairs, if you see that when I clicked on it. And you could go upstairs. So that's what we have. We just have an upstairs and downstairs on that map. Back to the start here. Here we are. And one more little fun history photo right there. And just maybe we want to go back upstairs. So that's again, and there's this other little feature you can add. This is just something with this software that you can do. Most of them do have a little map feature. For example, if you were doing something, you could use a Google map to show where a house was or something like that. There's also these images here on the right side, so you could just go to one image and you could name those images. I just have them the image number, but you could name it that it's this outside area, or click on, oh, this is the front, and people could just jump right back to the front. You could also not have those at all. Okay, moving on to the process of taking the photos. You're going to put the camera on a tripod and use a tablet or your phone, or even there's also a self-timer that will show you the process to do. There's a free software with the cameras you download onto the tablet, and you're going to want to leave the area because remember it's a 360 image, and so you're in the photo if you're standing next to the camera. So what we do is kind of go find a place to hide. You can't go too far away because you're connected by a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and you can see the live image on your tablet or phone, and you take a picture. Once you take the picture, you can see how the exposure came out. Now if you're not using a tablet, you can use a self-timer. We find that the number of pictures you need to take is maybe one every 10 to 20 feet, or just one photo in each kind of small room or small area. There's the use as with the self-timer. So you just put it there, press the button, you can put it on 10 seconds, and then go somewhere where the camera can't see you. So just quickly, here's what one of the software looks like, and this is what the little hotspots look like, and you can choose a different image and say, okay, here's the direction you want to go. You can add those little pop-up images. where you take a photo of a particular item or a sign, like that technology lab and the 3D printers and things like that. And that's just how the software kind of looks. So in conclusion, there are multiple uses for 360 cameras besides making a tour of your space. The camera can be checked out to library customers for use to make their own 3D tours, or just make 360 images and video as well as panorama pictures. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Rosine, mind if I say a few words?
Sure.
So
Hi
one
everyone,
of the
I'm
just
Jennifer
go ahead
Emery.
and move to the next
I'm
slide.
an ML.
So one of the things that
Hi everyone, I'm
hit
Jennifer
to the
Emery.
next slide. Yeah, there you go. So before we go into ChatGPT, so again, part of the importance of creating these rich virtual experiences are for those that cannot or will not ever be able to physically visit. So the skill set, as Jennifer mentioned, in terms of being able to teach others in the community how to do that, as well as the LS professionals' use of that technology to create very authentic, real world photography that's interactive, is a way to bring people to spaces that they may not otherwise be able to physically visit themselves. So as Jennifer said, learning the technology, not being intimidated by the technology, and then being able to create again, real world, almost like being there yourself, is something, that's very valuable. So one of the first projects I ever did with virtual reality 360 was of the governor's mansion in Florida. And we did that because, again, the fair majority of children in particular would never be able to physically visit the governor's mansion. So being able to transport people into spaces, and then as you can see, the technology has gotten much better, where you can now annotate and educate as people interact with that space. And these spaces also can be visited with headsets so that you can fully immerse yourself in this space. So not quite as good as being there in person, but in some ways we can provide more information than even if you were in person. And I do think that lastly, adding kind of the augmented reality, especially using our phones, will further, I think, kind of blur the lines between virtual or being in person. So anyway, great job, Jennifer, and very exciting. And the last thing I would say is, again, part of, I think, the role of libraries is to provide access to that technology, because again, 360 cameras are not inexpensive. And these are the kind of things that can be shared and checked out by libraries. And although we are not talking about drones this session, drones also do the same thing. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chow. So now we are going to hand the microphone to Nick, who is going to introduce ChatGPT for us and its functionalities. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Nick. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking to you about ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is an emerging AI technology that's gained a lot of traction lately due to its ability to generate human-like language. There's a lot of potential use cases that have yet to be explored, but one of our jobs as libraries is to be at the forefront of these new technologies and learn how to integrate them into our workflows, but also at the same time to make them more accessible to the public. So the purpose of this segment is to give you just a broad overview of the types of things that ChatGPT is capable of, talk a little bit about what it is and how it works, and then we'll also highlight some of the pitfalls and limitations associated with it, because it's important to be aware of those as you start to engage with it. So what is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a large language model chatbot developed by OpenAI that generates human-like responses to whatever prompt you give it. And before we dive any deeper, let's get some of the definitions and terminology out of the way. So AI stands for artificial intelligence, and that can either refer to the field of study that develops these intelligent machines, or it could refer to the actual technology and machines themselves. And generative AI is it's a type of artificial intelligence. It doesn't have the ability to look up information, but it's trained on a lot of information, and so that way it's able to generate new information based on that training. And large language models, or LLMs, those are a type of generative AI that's trained on a large data set, and it's able to predict upcoming words. So LLMs, that's like what underlies ChatGPT. So there's an important distinction between ChatGPT and GPT. ChatGPT is the actual chatbot, the software application that you interact with. But GPT is its underlying language model. And there is a free and a paid version. The free version gives you access to GPT 3.5, which is a pretty good model. But the paid version, which costs $20 a month, that gives you access to GPT-4, which has been trained on more data, and it's generally, it performs better. And you also get access to some other tools. There's like some customization tools now, and you also get access to their image, the AI image generation tool, which is pretty cool. You basically just ask it to create an image for you, you give it a prompt, and then it will create a whole image for you. So that's what the paid version. We're going to focus on just the ChatGPT today, though. There's also other AI tools like this out there. There's Bard, and there's like Bing Chat and some other ones. But we're just going to talk about ChatGPT for today. So what's with all the hype? Well, really, it's an AI tool like we've never seen before. I mean, not too long ago, this kind of stuff was just science fiction. You can have ChatGPT write large amounts of like well-written content. There are some issues with accuracy, which we'll get into a little bit later, but generally it's pretty accurate. And people are really excited about its potential to streamline and improve the efficiency of our work. And it's already been shown to be able to do this in a lot of cases. So yeah, overall, I mean, ChatGPT is really changing the way that people are interacting with writing and working and things like that. So let's move on and talk about how ChatGPT works. So basically, it was trained, the language model was trained on like this huge set of data from all over the internet, Wikipedia articles, books, web pages, things like that. And the language model learns patterns and structures from that large training data set. And then the language model will then analyze the text, and it predicts the word that's most likely to occur next, given the context of the preceding words. So here we have like an image kind of demonstrating this. So in the training data, if you have a sentence like "early bird gets the worm," then what ChatGPT is doing later on, it's if it sees "early bird gets the," then it will predict worm. And during the training process, there's like a reward model where if it gets it right, it gets rewarded, and then that kind of just reinforces the training aspect. So what about harmful content? ChatGPT generally does a good job at not generating harmful content. And OpenAI spent a long time and quite a lot of effort to get it to this state where it doesn't do that. Even if you ask ChatGPT to, write something bad, it won't. And the way that OpenAI did this is they actually had to gather large amounts of really clear examples of harmful content, like things like hate speech or things like that. And then they trained the model to avoid generating that type of content. Of course, people have found loopholes to this, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too. There's these things called prompt injection attacks, where they can get ChatGPT to kind of produce harmful content anyway. So let's move on and talk about some use cases. I thought it would be interesting to ask ChatGPT what it thinks it can be used for. And I have a little screenshot here that shows. So ChatGPT came up with some interesting ideas. You can use it for information retrieval, asking it to about certain topics. You can use it for writing assistance, drafting emails, things like that. You can also use it to, something that I've done is you can use it to help edit your writing. If you want to check for grammar or just have it kind of restructure a sentence to sound better. It also recommends using it for language translation, learning support, entertainment, task automation, and even therapeutic conversations. So that's an interesting one. And then some other common use cases are just for content generation. This could be like writing a blog post or having it help you write a thank you letter. And then text summarization is something that it's quite good at. You can copy and paste some text from a book or from a paper and have it summarize it for you. And it can even help with programming. It can write code, and it can debug your code. It can teach you about some programming principles. And it's also really useful for data analysis, and it can help you with research, like having it help you select a topic or generate research ideas. And I wanted to highlight some potential library-specific use cases that libraries have been experimenting with. So one is cataloging, and there's a paper actually, or articles for each of these, which I recommend reading if you're interested to hear more. I have some references on a slide later on with the full citations. But libraries have also explored using ChatGPT to answer reference questions. And here at Palo Alto City Library, actually, they use ChatGPT to do a lot of data analysis and help them develop a taxonomy for their website. And they also wrote an article about that, which was just published a few days ago, I think. So yeah, all of these investigations, they found that ChatGPT wasn't really able to complete the entire process and on its own. It was useful for certain steps along the way, and it especially with cataloging, it's like a useful tool to kind of get started, but the finished the finished product can have some issues with accuracy and things like that. So you need somebody to look over the results. It's not going to just replace everybody, at least not yet. So yeah, it's easy to focus on these fascinating and positive aspects of ChatGPT, but there are significant limitations, risks, and concerns associated with it. And it's really important for any responsible user of ChatGPT to be aware of these. I won't be able to cover all of them right now, but I will give you a brief overview of some of the limitations. So one of the major limitations is accuracy. ChatGPT actually prioritizes creating believable language over generating accurate responses. So sometimes it will generate a very confident, well-written response, but it turns out that it's actually completely false or made up. And this is what they call a hallucination. And another limitation of ChatGPT is that it's not able to express uncertainty. It can't really ask you clarifying questions if it's not sure of what your intent was. So that sort of leads it to kind of like guess what your intent is, and that can also lead to some accuracy issues potentially. So it helps to write really clear prompts, really clear instructions, potentially even giving it examples first. And there's actually like kind of a whole like field dedicated to this called prompt engineering, where they try to get the most out of ChatGPT with clear prompts. So another limitation is that, at least for the free version, GPT 3.5, the training data only goes up to September 2021. So anything you ask it about events or information after that date, it won't be able to answer. The newer ChatGPT 4, and they actually just released a new one called GPT-4 Turbo. That one, for the paid subscription, that goes up, the training data goes up to April of 2023. So that's a pretty big improvement there. So some of the risks involved, there are like some privacy and data security concerns. There have been malicious users that have that attempt to extract sensitive information from the model's training data. And there's also what I mentioned earlier, prompt injection attacks, which it's basically when a user creates some type of prompt that gets ChatGPT to bypass its content restrictions. And this allows that user to then have ChatGPT generate harmful content. There have been cases where people have been able to get ChatGPT to write like phishing email scams or even code malware, things like that. So it's definitely a cyber security risk as well. OpenAI does do a good job, though, of patching things quickly when things like this get out. And they're constantly updating and making sure that ChatGPT is as safe as possible. But inevitably, there's people out there who are trying to, what they call like jailbreak ChatGPT and get it to do bad things. So some other concerns are bias. Inevitably, since the training data is just data from all over the internet, there are societal biases, included in the training data, and that means that there is potential for bias to come out in ChatGPT's responses. There's also authorship and intellectual property concerns. There's sort of an unclear ownership of the ChatGPT generated content, and that leads to concerns about plagiarism and potential copyright infringement, and for students, like academic integrity. This is a really big talking point in the education field. And I believe Dr. Chow actually gave a talk recently here at Palo Alto City Library about this. I'm sure you can find it somewhere, maybe on our YouTube. I know it's on Palo Alto's website as well. And another concern is misinformation. With ChatGPT's hallucinations that happen sometimes, and also these malicious users, finding loopholes to trick ChatGPT into generating harmful content. There's a lot of people that are concerned about it fueling the spread of misinformation, which really is a big concern. And a lot of these limitations, like some of the accuracy issues and things like that, they can be difficult to notice at first glance because ChatGPT writes so well and so confidently. So it's really important to verify the information that ChatGPT is giving you before you actually use it for anything. So let's try out ChatGPT and let's take a look at what it can do. Great. Okay, so let's ask it. Well, let's be polite first. Let's say, hi, ChatGPT. How are you doing today? So it says, hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you? What's going on? I'm doing great as well. Can you tell me an interesting fantasy book? That's my favorite book genre. So it's giving me some information. It says, absolutely, one captivating fantasy book is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I haven't actually read of it, but it's on my radar. And then it tells me a little bit about the book. So let's do something a little bit more library specific. Let's ask it to make a MARC record of that. Can you please generate a MARC record for that book using RDA? And ChatGPT will actually create a MARC record for that. And it says, please note that the data elements like the control number and publication fields should be filled in with accurate information according to this specific edition of the book. So it does need a little bit of assistance to actually fully complete the MARC record and have it be accurate. So let's take it a little further and get some programming into the mix. Let's ask it if it will make a web page that displays that MARC record. And let's see what it does. So it's actually writing us some code, some HTML code for a web page. And I'm going to copy this code and let's see what it produced. So I'm just saving it in a notepad right now, and I'm saving it as a .html file. And then oops. Let's see, I need to open it in Chrome. Okay, so it looks like this is what it came up with, which isn't quite accurate. Let's tell it, I did this earlier and it came up with a an actual web page that showed the whole MARC file. Let's see, let's tell it the MARC, or the MARC record, sorry. The MARC record isn't showing on the web page. So let's see, now it's giving me some new code. Let's try that. Okay, so it's not sorry.
Yeah, we just got to figure out where that's at. Can you go to
It's not really
our
working at the
SJSU,
moment, which
live stream
happens from
page?
time to time.
Yeah, it's not that one anymore.
It's
If you
it's
go
good at
to,
certain things, and it's you know, there are limitations to this.
All right,
I'm
we'll
also
start
using,
in just a few minutes. As always, a few technical difficulties, but we'll start in just a second. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Are there technical
Okay,
difficulties?
we're live. Great.
Are we ready, Alfredo?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay,
Oh,
excellent.
I see. I accidentally hit play on that. Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah, so as you can see, you know, ChatGPT can do quite a lot. There are some limitations to it. And yeah, that was just like a quick little demo. There's a lot of potential use cases, like I mentioned earlier. And you can use this, you know, as librarians in your workflows and tasks. You can try experimenting with it, but you know, caution is recommended with this. It's not always accurate. You really need to double check what it responds with. So yeah, that was just a quick overview and demo of ChatGPT for you. Thank you, everyone else who's presented. Sorry about that little technical difficulty earlier. And yeah, here's some references for the papers that I mentioned, and a few additional reading recommendations if you're interested to learn more about ChatGPT. And yeah, I guess I'll pass it back to Dr. Chow.
Thanks, Nick. It's a great job. Also want to mention that Nick is actually an intern for the Palo Alto City Library as part of the School of Information special topic internship experience. So, and again, great job, Nick. And it's also gratifying to know that even ChatGPT gets its HTML tags wrong. Which actually is a good example of how ChatGPT and AI in general is being seen largely as a companion right now. And as Nick said, something that will, for example, generating native code like that would take quite a bit of time, whereas ChatGPT at least created the shell within seconds, and then you could go back and fix whatever the issue is after scanning it. So I think that was a really good example, Nick, across all fronts, right? Which is the other part that I find quite dangerous, is because ChatGPT is able to do things so quickly and generate so much content so quickly, it also makes it very hard to check as well. And I think that, you know, again, Nick's example is a perfect example of AI and ChatGPT often is not quite there yet. But obviously, if used correctly, it can be a huge asset. So yeah, nice job, Nick. Are there any questions? We figured there might be some questions about the ChatGPT one in general. So team, if you want to look on our YouTube live stream to see if there are any questions. And while we're wrapping up, I want to thank the entire team for their work and effort. So again, part of our mission is to have our students be able to have a hands-on experience, including this live stream webcast. And we had a few technical difficulties just getting started, but that's also part of the process. So I want to thank all of our students and their dedication. We also have drones and robots that we did not make part of this today's live stream, but will likely be something we'll highlight in the future. Again, drone technology, again, is perfect for STEM, as well as creating unique images and experiences that, for example, looking at a mountaintop from above, as opposed to just seeing it from below. And robotics, again, especially with AI, more self-autonomous robots that can kind of serve as companions, as well as, again, be excellent devices to teach STEM. Again, both those robots and drone technology, children and adults alike love them because you can edit a little bit of code, and the robot and drones will do what you asked it to do, and it's always very very intriguing and very exciting. So you see on the screen here, if you like the slide deck, feel free to take a snapshot of that QR code. And also, if you want access to our website, there is the QR code there. I'm Dr. Anthony Chow. There's my email address. And Alfredo, who is our LTI Lab coordinator, has done a great job. Rosine, team, do you want to say goodbye before we conclude? I want to thank again all our students, Chase, Jennifer, Nick, Rosine, Irene, in particular Rosine and Irene. They have been with us from the very beginning, and we really appreciate your contributions to all that the LTI Lab is now today. And off script, Alfredo, Rosine, how many partners do we have now approximately? Do we have a ballpark as far as how many have joined our network?
Alfredo is saying we have 9 now.
9. Okay, wonderful, excellent. All right. Any parting words from anyone?
Any parting words?
No. What?
We can hear you with the mic.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
No, I just want to say thank you for joining us live, and also if you're watching on the recording, hopefully you found this useful and kind of see the evolution of the lab, and then hopefully come back annually and check to see what we do, because we'll keep doing these live streams to kind of share this information. So on behalf of Rosine and the rest of the LTI team and Dr. Chow, I want to say thank you. Thank you to Palo Alto for letting us do this in your space, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Chow.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, that concludes our live stream. Thank you, everyone. Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.